I'm Debra Jeans, and I'm almost 9 years now since I had the diagnosis. And the irony was that it was in October, end of October, that I got the diagnosis. I am a 2-time Olympian, went to the Olympics twice, and 3-time African judo champion. We've run gyms, my husband and I have run gyms my whole life. So it came as a huge shock when I found a lump just under my arm. And when I went off, it was absolutely tiny. It felt like a little pearl earring. That's what it felt like. And luckily, my mum had had breast cancer 20 years before that. And I remember feeling her lump. So straight away, the alarm bells went off. Anyway, long story short, went in and actually the mammogram was negative and the ultrasound was negative. There was nothing, but my doctor was amazing. And she said, I'm not happy until I actually see the tissue. And sure as anything, I had a biopsy and there it was. So I was very fortunate that I went to South Africa for treatment, and long story short, it was lobular cancer, and it was stage 2, and I had a double mastectomy in South Africa. Luckily, I didn't need chemotherapy, but I went onto a hormone blocker. So it was of course, it's a shock. Any diagnosis of cancer is a shock because it's the big C word. I think I was very lucky in that I am married to a doctor. But even although I was in that situation, there was no knowledge or, journey as to what the next steps were. So, once I'd seen my surgeon, that was like, okay, now, you need to go and have surgery, or you need to go and see an oncologist. But you're not quite sure what to do, And I'm an exercise physiologist, and my husband is a sports, exercise, and lifestyle medicine physician. So we went down that journey, and we went to the most amazing unit in South Africa. I'm very privileged to be able to do that. But throughout our journey and right up to now, of course, we have been honing in on the whole cancer, metabolic. How does this happen? How do we end up with a cancer diagnosis? What kind of factors are in the background for that? What causes it? And the very exciting thing now that we have really established, and that we are on a path to sharing with practitioners, oncologists and doctors and nurses, and most importantly patients who have a breast cancer diagnosis or any cancer diagnosis, is that it's a metabolic disease. So the evidence now and the research is overwhelming that there is a metabolic disease continuum. So perhaps you would choose diabetes or polycystic ovarian syndrome, clinical depression, and of course cancer is right there. So genetics only ever accounts for 20% of a cancer diagnosis, and that's hard evidence out there now for that. But the problem is that if we have the genetic seed, then the expression of that seed depends on how we treat the environment around the seed. Just like if we were planting something in the ground, we have to give it water, it's in soil, it has sunshine, and it will grow. And a cancer seed is exactly the same. So how we treat our metabolism can be, food is the big one. So nutrition is massive. It's not well known. It's what treatment protocols all over the world are based on, is that cancer depends on carbohydrate. It can only use sugar or carbohydrate. It cannot use protein, and it cannot use fat. It has to have carbohydrate in order to thrive. And we see this when someone, perhaps cancer comes back. So if my cancer came back, I would be sent for a PET scan. The PET scan, what they do is they inject you with glucose, and it's a radioactive glucose. So then they follow it you go into the scan and they follow it in the body, and they can see, because cancer tumors are so greedy, they will suck up that glucose faster than any other cell. I think up to 30, 50 times faster. So they can see exactly where those tumors are because it's sucking up glucose. So the easiest strategy is we have to address what we're eating. We have to stop eating and drinking sugar and processed foods and refined foods. We have to really start going back to real food. And then the other thing, of course, is exercise is massive. So in Australia today, any cancer diagnosis has to come with an exercise prescription because it's so amazing in the battle against cancer. Toxic environments, of course, that's also. So, you know, the good news, and especially for Zimbabweans, because so many Zimbabweans, if we're on medical aid, that's fantastic, because that's a huge weight off your shoulders, isn't it? You get a diagnosis, you're going to get part of that cost is going to be covered, or most of it's going to be covered. If you're not on medical aid, you know, really, you're in big trouble. But whether you're on medical aid or you're not, what everybody can start doing right now, and that's really where my journey has been, is that we all have cancer cells. You have cancer cells. Did you know that? Your cancer cells are there every day, but your immune system knocks them off. So we have to do everything we can to support this incredible immune system. And I mean, if you go and Google it on YouTube, it'll blow your mind. The one sure thing is take control, take back the control, be proactive and do whatever it takes to support your immune system and be metabolically healthy. That's what you want to do.